Okay, so we've been going over Masterclass Chapter 3, which is on back games. And we've covered a number of things, um, uh, including cubes and timing and things like that. This session, we're going to talk about timing again. And in terms of how to keep it. And the first couple examples are going to be from Mochi's book, and he provides a particular point of view on timing. There are other things that he has to look at. Again, he's trying in one single chapter to cover a few things, and there are a whole lot more things to consider for back games. So we're going to try to take at least a look at some of them. So here's a timing issue, and what would seem to be the right play here with the 5-1 to play?
I think Brown has very good timing for a 1-3 game, right? So, I mean, it would be hard to play, in an actual game, but you could look at like 8-2 to try to reduce the timing.
Yeah. Well, I think, first of all, first thing you should look at, I think one of Moshe's good insights here, at least I haven't heard of it before, was recognizing what kind of minimum timing is needed. And so the first thing you look at is the black has a 1-3 back game. And if you remember the timing, it's 1-2 back game was the way that I came up with, used to think of it is 90. And the 1-3 back game is 60. So we've got 88. So we've got black has pretty good timing. So we don't want to extend black's timing anymore. In fact, we'd like to reduce it. So I think the obvious play here is 15-10 and the 15-9 or 11-10 or something like that. But given that black has very good timing, Max is right, and that you want to do one of these plays where and this is very odd, almost or very, very hard to do, in that you're going to break your prime. The best play is to break your prime and slot the 2-point. And the idea behind this is that you'd like to get hit and sort of mess up black's timing. Also, you're going to a great extent to do that because you're breaking your prime. It's almost unheard of to break your prime, and it's almost always wrong to do that, but not in this case. Now, this isn't terrible. The other plays, okay, this slots a 2. These slots, actually, all the top plays seem to slot the 2-point. But here's one. Oh well, you didn't plus that one. That doesn't. See how it looks on plus. Yeah, so that's not terrible, but oddly, this one also breaks to 6 prime. So you're looking to get hit. You're going out of your way almost to get hit here and to spoil black's timing.
Does it mean anything that you're keeping your 2 points 6 away from the anchors? Because I noticed, breaking the 8's better than breaking the 7, for example. Is that because they could escape with 6s if you break the 7?
I would think so. Generally, I mean, with the ace point as a back anchor, you usually want to keep the bar. It actually depends on where you're going. If you're getting close to bearing off, this is a tougher one to bear off or to bear in. But if you look at if black may ruin his timing, you want him to be forced to escape from the front of the prime. So if he gets something like a double 6s or whatever, he's forced to break that and still keeps his back prime. But that's going to vary. depending on what you want to do. Here, black has plenty of timing, and it probably doesn't make that much difference. Black is not going to break his back anchor until he gets his board settled. Yeah. Okay, so this was a Michi example. And he provides a lot of these. One message of his book is his chapter is to you're looking not to hit, you're looking to create timing by throwing checkers in as bait. This is unusual though, in that black has no board and lots of blots lying around. So I sort of wondered what would happen if we changed that a little bit. And now black has a board. And now his timing isn't so great either. So what would you do in this case? Is it still 8-2?
I don't think I could do it anymore here. I would just make it like a normal boring play.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the timing is now black doesn't have timing, so you're not. I mean, you could still argue that okay, you can wreck his timing even more by getting hit on the 2-point, but now black has something, not much, but something to worry about in that he's got a 3-point board. If you come in from the 8 and then get hit, now black has an out to get either the 2 or the 3 out. You've got lots around here. I mean, you're giving him an opening that he didn't have before. So, and just the answer to this one is actually not to hit or not to slot to 2. Let's go down to play. So actually, all these plays don't matter. Let's look at one that slots 2. Here's the other play. Yeah, so here's the case where it's a blunder to the slot to 2. And all these other plays are, well, boring, as Max would have said, which is true. But here the timing issue is that black is going to run out with the 6 prime. Black is going to run out of timing sooner, and you want to let him crash. So, and you don't want to give him any outs. So here sliding to 2 would be very bad because you're giving him a potential out. I mean, you still have a pretty good advantage in this game, but you're giving him a chance for some jokers. And then part of this is black's board is now something to worry about. In the other example, black had no board; it's had the 6-point stack. So, one other example of this. Oops. So here's one. Black's timing isn't so great. Now we have the option of hitting though. And Michi sort of gives you the impression that, I'm sorry, it's Mochi, gives you the impression that you should never hit because it creates more timing for black. And so wonder if would you agree with him on this and why? Well, would you agree with that general statement? And then what about this particular case?
If you hit that one on the 14, you take away one of his 6s. So haven't you actually, even though he's going to be farther behind, you've actually hurt his timing because he's going to have fewer well, I guess it goes both ways because it's also going to take longer to get in. So I guess I'm not sure now. So that wasn't like if that one on the 14 was back on his on his 1, then he'd be worse off, even though he's farther behind, because you'd have fewer numbers to play before he breaks.
Yeah, so I mean, this is the tricky part. If we look at black's timing here, he doesn't have good timing. So by hitting him, you give him more timing. On the other hand, part of his timing is having this checker to move in. And if you put him on the bar, he's going to move in with a 1, 2, or 3, and that's it. Then he's stuck. So here, it's a kind of a trade-off here, this. Here are the plays that hit and don't hit. So the top plays are hitting, but now it's kind of tied. Because here's a not hitting play, and it's basically the same. Here's another not hitting play. And it's a .026 here, but that's hardly something worth worrying about. So, you know, it's hard to say. It's not always correct for timing to not hit. Now, if we put this checker here, take it off the bar, put it here, say, and now black, if we hit black, we only have a single checker coming in. Wouldn't say there's much more, but it is slightly better to not to hit here. Now we've only got one more checker here before black starts to crash. Again, not a big difference, but sometimes reading what most you is focusing on is, you know, don't hit if to create more timing and let yourself get hit to create more timing. In this case, that's not really the situation. Because part of the timing is black's ability to move this checker someplace. You know, but by hitting it, you take that flexibility away. Okay. Some other positions. Now, these don't come from Mochi's book. Yeah, so we have so what do we do with this? This is a 6-3. Now I would say okay, so and black has 115 pips. A 2-3 back game is minimum is 50 pips needed. Again, it's, you know, 1-2 is 90, 1-3 is 60, 2-3 is 50. And then farther up you get, it's less, but it's below 50. But so he needs 50, so he's extremely well timed here. But what's the best way to hurt black's timing?
I mean, I wouldn't have even considered this if this wasn't like a quiz problem, but you could play something stupid like 4-1 or something like that, hit him 4-1. No, that's probably bad because you might just make the 21 points, so maybe that's not necessary. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would have just, I mean, if I were actually playing, I would have just hit it, just because like at some point when the timing is so good, you just want to hit as many as possible, right? You can't ruin the timing, so might as well hit it.
Yeah. Well, and hitting does, there are some good things too. It's not just, it prevents black from, well, sets black back from making a board. Right now he's got a 2-point board. And so you're taking a checker out, a checker that was poised to do something constructive. You're putting on the bar, and let's look at the answer. There's another aspect of this. So there's another way to play this game shown by this example. So let's look at the top 3. And oh, here's another one. This is the, you know, slotting play to get hit. So the top plays are actually hitting and breaking your prime. Breaking the 8-point, here's breaking the 7-point. And this one is just to keep going, keeping the prime. And this one is hitting. We should look at this one too, because this is what I would. Well, so this is the hitting and splitting your checkers to try to get hit. And it's a blunder in this case. This is to pass by black without hitting. And that's a blunder. So the thing about this one is, you know, the strategy is completely different. We're not trying to get black to crash. And it's a completely different view of this back game. And the idea here is to disrupt Black's ability to make a board and to begin bringing our checkers in. Now we'll have 2 on the bar. We can start breaking this, because remember what Black is doing is when we get to this point, we bring this check around, we're going to have awkward rolls, rolling, or, trying to clear the 7 and the 8 point. So here we're putting an extra checker on the bar. It disrupts Black's ability to make a board. He's probably going to dance. Now we have a chance to clear a point. Start clearing a point. And this is a case where Black's timing is so good that, we're not, even if, the 4-1 play, even if we got hit, Black could get the 3 anchor back in, which is not good at all. But we're not going to be able to disrupt it enough to ruin Black's timing. So actually the best way to do is to kind of counter the timing issues, create more timing by disrupting Black. And then, then we're likely to get hit when we do try to bring Black, when we try to clear these points, but Black has nothing to contain us. And so, that's one way of disrupting Black's position is if we can. So if we do get hit, okay. But now Black has to deal with this, 4 prime in front of him, while without having a board while we're trying to bring it around again safely. So, or bring our checker around to, start another, to get into our home board again, to get off. So, it's a completely different view of what Mochi had been saying about don't create more timing. Here we are creating more timing, but we're doing it to sort of prevent Black from being able to construct what he needs. And again, Black needs to make the prime. Black doesn't make the prime, he can't contain us. So we take another checker out. Black has what, 4, 5, 6, 7 checkers that aren't behind, that aren't in our home board. He can't make much of a prime with 7 checkers. Then if he does, he's not gonna be able to hold it very long until he gets some checkers out. So anyway, a different view of how to play the back game. Let's look at variation of this. So the difference here is Black doesn't have the checker on the bar. So how is that going to change anything? So do we hit here? Again, or do we start to clear our checkers? How does the fact that Black is not on the bar now, how is that going to change anything?
Leaving a blot on the 8 is no longer safe like it was in the previous position. Because with 2 checkers up, there's no way it can be hit. But if we hit on the 17, and if we make the exact same move, then Black has some shots back on the 8.
Yeah, well, Black is pinned back here,
right?
Against the 5 prime, so he needs a 6 to. His timing now is he needs to get out from behind the prime so that he doesn't crash his board, so that he can actually make a board. So in this case, we're going to hit again to keep him from doing that. And you have the same things going on before. Let's look at that plus. Yeah, here we're not going to want to clear. Because then Black that opens up for Black, for it's easier for Black to escape. Previously with 2 on the bar, Black may not come in right away, and we're probably going to get around the board before he has to come in and can make some more timing for himself. So here the right play is to hit and run, not breaking the prime. But even Now, this is an interesting one. Here, it makes a big difference which point you break. So 8 to 5 is still not a bad play. This is a blunder. And I guess the reason for this is that we don't want black to anchor on the bar point. I think that's the reason for that. And so we don't leave it first. Because with it now, with having a hit and checker on the bar, black could at some point make the bar point. Certainly he's going to hit loose if he gets a chance. Just to escape some back checkers. All right. Let's go to the next one. Two one to play. What do we think of this one?
I think I don't want to hit because I don't want to give him a chance to make the 23 point, right? With by sending another checker back, that's probably the most important thing, or at least I don't know, the first thing I looked at.
Okay. Well, and that's a good point. But what about timing?
Sure, yeah, and it would help his timing too, right? Which is sort of borderline right now.
Well, yeah. So he's got a 3-4 back game going. So the timing on that is going to be like 40 pips. So he's got decent timing for that. So by hitting, we would give him more timing from that perspective. But what about where's the timing going to come from? Because this is his last checker in the outfield. He's got checkers back here, checkers in here. What if he rolls, double fives or double threes? Or even well, yeah, double five, something like double fives. Double fives, he's got to come out with the 3 from his 3, ending his back game.
That's a reason to hit, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he fans with double 5, right? I'm sure there's other bad numbers too. But, I think a particular one is not bad if we hit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's got the game isn't settled here, obviously yet, but he's stacked on his 4 points, so he's got 4s and 6s to come out, but if you hit him, he needs those 4s or 6s to come out, or he's got to break back here, or if he's got a 5, he's got to either break this one or break that one. So that that and that really messes up his game. So let's look at the answer here. And the answer is all the top plays are hitting. Let's see ones that don't. There's one that doesn't. Just look at those. Okay, so this is the top play. It's reasonably far ahead of the other ones. So making that anchor and then hitting. I guess by making this anchor, you don't get hit by double ones or something like that. I'm not sure why it's so important to do that when he's got nothing there, but that makes it top play. Here's the other top play. It's also hitting and bringing one down. What we'd like to make is the 8 point. So I'm surprised that this isn't better, or even 12, 11, 11, 9. No. I would be tempted to do something like 13, 11 with the 2, and then 6, 5 or 7, 6 or something like that. just to give me more of a chance to make the 8-point. But that's apparently not right. Here you're 13, 11, 6, 5. Okay, so that's off a little bit. I get maybe that's too loose. And I guess, black comes in with a 1, he's probably going to hit there. And then that gives him a chance to pop some checkers out. And then if he hits again, black has a decent board. We could get tied up there. I guess that's why you don't want to give him a chance to roll a couple of jokers, and you're trapped behind what's a not particularly strong board, but not a terrible board either. This is not nothing. 5, 6, 5, and 3-point there. But again, the idea here is that you hit, and you actually you give black the chance to crash his board, because even though he's got timing in terms of the pip count, he doesn't have the checkers to take that timing. And on the other side, if you're playing black here, you desperately need to get these checkers out into the outfield, so that you don't crash your board, and you're not necessarily forced to, with the double 5s or something like that, to break your back game. All right. Another one. 2-1 to play. So do we hit here or not? And why, if anyone can think of a reason?
So black's got enough timing, but I still kind of like hitting for 2 reasons. One, you leave the checker there on the 9, it gives you a chance to make a 6 prime. And 2, if black comes in and hits, it hurts their timing, but it also takes away one of their, timing checkers or whatever you want to call it. They've only got the 2 checkers left on the 15 to play big numbers. The one on the 9 helps their timing. So
Yeah.
I think it's helping the timing in both ways.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's a case. Here are all the hitting numbers. Here's the best non-hitting number, or not hitting play. So yeah, you're by removing this checker, hitting this checker, you're putting him on the bar. He can't be used for timing unless black then rolls a 6 to bring back out one of these. So by doing this, you give black a chance to come in with a 2, giving you more timing. And then you have a chance to make the 9-point. Yeah, so and you're taking black's checkers away, you're taking back his timing, you're also taking back his ability to create a board anytime soon, a decent board. And then this isn't terrible, but this is not really threatening if we get hit. And if we start burying checkers in, and are going to get hit, black is going to have a hard time making a decent board. Let's look at the plays. 10, 9, 14, 12 is the best. This was probably what I would actually do. 10, 9, 14, 6, just because it gives more chances to make the 9. And we might want to cover that if black dances. We might want to cover the 2-point. And this you reduce your chances of making the 9. Now, making the 9, I guess we'd like to make the 9, but it's not critical because as soon as we make it, we're going to break it. We've got like one roll before we break it, so it's not that critical, but you know, would be bad to make it. This is, you know, 10-9. This prevents Black from coming in with the 6 and you know, sending us back again, getting us more time. And then just, you know, not hitting is just the wrong idea here. You know, we want to hit. We'd like this checker to be hit. Okay. One more timing position. So, do we hit here or not?
I would. I think 111 pips is enough where I think that's probably past the point where we just want to start hitting everything. And I think I'd prefer if he doesn't make the 4-point, right? So I think I would probably just hit and continue to the 17, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, so here's the case where, you know, Black already has the timing. And this one, you know, by hitting him, we give him more timing, but we also prevent him from making that point. So, you know, another way to play the back game is to you know, overwhelm Black with checkers on the bar and in the back so that he can't make his board and so that he loses timing. Now, in this case, if we hit this one, we don't really do much for his timing because he's still got all these checkers out here to come in on. But I should look at the right play, and all the right plays are hitting.
If he does, if he dances next turn, you might clean up all of those blots, and then
Yeah, exactly.
you could actually be looking at a realistic chance at a backgammon here with all those checkers back.
Exactly. If you hit all of these, you know, that's 4 more on the bar. It may play. You should certainly be able to bring all your checkers in from the outfield before he comes in. Not always. He could roll double 3s or double 1s or something like that, but there's a good chance that you could do that. And if you do that, then you've got, yeah, and then Black will have 4 checkers, and you know he's got the best, you know, 2-point board with 4 checkers, but that's not very, you know, not very scary if you do get hit. So yeah, I guess the alternative strategy here is when you're overtime, just keep loading the checkers up, load the checkers up and you know, start coming in. So here the best play is not here's 20, here's hitting and then coming out. So it's not, and that's actually a blunder to do that. It's hitting and start to clear your points. And you know, keeping this one here to hit some more. So here's breaking the 9, here's breaking the 8, either one are okay. Here's, you know, coming down, which is not a stronger play because now you can't get a 1 to put another checker up. And you're not starting to clear a point, you're adding checkers. You're adding a spare to a point that you want to clear at some point. And let's see the top not hitting play. You know, you're starting to clear the point. Part of it too is that this guy, well, he doesn't have a lot of obstacles. You do have to get him out at some point. And it's conceivable that Black could make this point or make the bar point or something like that. And now you know, you can't get out and you're forced to break something in and leave. Well, leaving a shot is not necessarily terrible, but you know, Black has the checkers to make a 4 prime maybe. If he gets to 6, he can come out. and have more timing, so you do have to get this guy out at some point. Anyway, so that was another look at, a different look at timing. You don't get that from Mochi's book. Mochi's chapter. And I'm sure that he knows this, and this just didn't have room in the book for this, but it's something else to keep in mind. It's not always, I sort of got the impression reading the book that his message was don't hit. If your opponent's playing a back game, and that's really, it's a little more, it's quite a bit more nuanced than that, and there are certainly situations where you would want to hit, if you can. Okay, that is enough for today on this topic. We'll get to the quiz section of the book next couple times. We'll go over, sort of summarize everything that Mochi was talking about in the book. So we'll do that next time.